Hello, welcome to Infinite Prattle. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about pocket money and doing childhood chores. I've kind of touched on this subject before, but I want to talk about how it formulates us as adults. So, yeah, let's talk about that. Hello, and welcome to Infinite Prattle! Unscripted, unedited prattle on everything. Hosted by me, Stephen. Listen, like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the show. I hope you're all very, very well. Welcome to the Infinite Prattle, the podcast, hosted by me, Stephen. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, thank you for returning. I've just taken a massive drink and it's giving me a wind, so... Oh, terrible. Fizzy pop. Well, it's not Pepsi today. I can't flog that dead horse about sponsorship any longer. I don't think it's coming. So I've touched on this before, I think. I don't think I've done a full podcast about it. I think I've touched on it with pocket money stuff but when you're a kid, you have things to do. Not as much as you do as an adult, but I think it's good to have chores and jobs to do around the house and allocation and responsibility when you're growing up. And when you're a kid, you some of it you don't mind, especially if there's a monetary reward. And some of it you hate. Let's face it, it's some things you just hate, because you just expected to do it just to be good, and yeah, that kind of grates when you're a kid, doesn't it? Sometimes things when you're a kid, you just think, leave me alone. I'm playing on my Mega Drive. Yes, I'm that old, and I just want to be left alone, and I don't want to be bothered. I've got my Manta Force out. This is, if you recognise any of these toys, then you're ace. My Micro Machines and my Legos are still a thing. But I'm happy, leave me alone. I don't want to tidy my room. Why are parents always obsessed about your room being tidy? Well, I kind of know why they are, but it also is very, very annoying. My mother was super obsessed about having my room tidy, and I was actually quite meticulously tidy, but I it's kind of how I am now, to be honest. Things either have meticulous placement or it's in flux. And if you're in my room right now, at the moment, again, my room is in flux because I don't always put things back when I should. And because my brain moves from one thing to another so fast and I get bored so quickly. Well, not bored, I have to change my process a little bit sometimes. So I'll start doing a job, kind of maybe get frustrated with it, or I might have grossly underestimated the time it was going to take me to do it. So I either stop doing that job because it's then frustrated me because I haven't completed it. And the ironic thing is then I just leave it and don't complete it. And then sometimes go on to something else that I think is going to give me joy. But that could be in the same area. And that could be tidying something different. Again, really weird. So yeah, so when I was a kid, I think I still had this trait. Well, I did have this trait. It's followed me into adulthood. So my bedroom was pretty tidy, and the weird thing was when I was a kid as well. I actually had the bigger room in our house. We had a 3-bedroomed semi-detached house, which for anyone around the world doesn't know what a semi-detached house is. Basically, where two houses are connected by one wall. So it's I don't know if it's unique to this country. So terraced houses is a full row of houses, and this is two of them cut off. So it's a bit weird. It's kind of like a middle class, working class, middle class kind of style of home. And then if you're a bit more wealthy, then you can have a detached house, which is just just house on its own. If you're really wealthy, you can have a detached house with land around it. So there you go. There's a breakdown of some classes of houses in the UK. We lived in a semi-detached, and my mum and dad weren't loaded. My mum didn't work for a while. She was a stay-at-home mum. She had a bit of childminding, and then she went back to work part-time. And then full-time. So, my dad supported us when me and my brother, especially when my brother was very young. And then when I came on scene, it wasn't as bad. I got hand-me-downs and stuff like that. So, again, when you're a kid, you don't care, do you? But having 2 kids, obviously, money was a bit tighter. And until we grew up a little bit, it probably became easier in some ways because we could help around the house, and well, this is my take on it at least. Anyway, like you kind of eat more as well, so I suppose it doesn't really save on the money. Um, but yeah, like I feel like obviously they got promotion and better jobs and more hours and stuff like that. So I suppose it was like a combination of maybe us being less demanding and them working more and earning more. So I suppose there's a bit of a balance there. But I don't think I was a demanding kid. I don't think I was like ever buy me this, buy me that. Mum and dad did the best for me they could. And that was supplemented with me obviously being a good person and a good kid. Really, I mean, it was very good. If you're not good, you don't get kind of thing was a good phrase in our household for my mum especially. And I was saying we didn't really get pocket money. Like we used to sometimes get some money for some of the chores we did, but it was almost like the chores were just an expectation. We weren't, we were expected to like do a bit of hoovering when we got to a certain age. So like when we were very young, it was just like keep your own area tidy, keep your room tidy, put your clothes away, make your bed in the morning. And that viral video was going on for a while, wasn't it? With that guy saying about it all starts with making your bed in the morning, like to have a productive day, like get up and make your bed. That's the first thing you can do, and it'll keep you going throughout the day. And I suppose it's kind of right in a way, because I used to do that. I make my bed now, but it's just not. It's not like I don't tuck it in. My mum used to kind of like really like to see quite a pristine bed. I slipped when we got older, but I suppose it's picky battles when when your kids become teenagers and they back chat and start getting their own mind. It's a bit harder when you got a toddler and a young child. It's probably easier to like enforce things. But yeah, I think like making the bed, keeping your room tidy, putting your toys away after you've played with them. Like get your toys out, but you've got to put them away. You can't leave them everywhere. But yeah, I had the big room. This is what I was talking about. I had the big room. We had a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. We'd moved from a terraced house actually. Mum and Dad upscaled when I came along. I was about 2, 3, 4, I think when we moved, and it was just we needed a bigger house, so they went and got a 3-bedroom house, and I was actually given the second largest room. So there was like Mum and Dad's room, which was the biggest, mine, which was the like medium sized room, and then there was like quite a small room, and that's what my brother had, and I don't know why that was the case. I really don't. I think my room had massive wardrobes in it. It had some of my brother's clothes as well as my own. And I think all the toys and stuff were pretty much kept in my room. My brother just kind of had like very, very personal items, and a lot of the stuff was kept in my room. So maybe that was why it was just. I don't know. I probably should ask my mum that actually. I wonder why that was the case. Anyway. And then my brother's room was actually quite small. And then being a foolish child, I actually begged for his room. I don't know why I did that. When I was about like, we'd been living there a few years, and I always thought, I think it was because his room was so compact, and I think I liked I still like small compact spaces. I think if I ever had loads of money and bought a house, I would have rooms that were the correct size for their use. I would have a big massive games room and stuff like that, and pool table and big massive screen. I'd have like a sports bar basically. But like all my other rooms would be functional. Like I would like the room I'm in now would be perfect as like a small hobby room. Then I would have a separate room for podcasting and a separate room for this and a separate room for that. And that's how I would lay things out. Each room for a purpose, everything self-contained. And I think that's why I changed rooms. I think I really, really wanted that compact space. So yeah, we did that, and I've lost my thread on this already. I'm meant to be talking about chores. So yeah, but I had to kind of earn the right to change rooms, and my brother was well up for it, obviously. So we swapped rooms. But then I used to like, I think I had to save up to help pay for the wallpaper. I think I had to be really good because that's what it was. Yeah, that's where I was going with this. So we didn't just get handouts and stuff. We had to earn being good. So when we changed rooms, I wanted it decorated a certain way. And my dad, obviously, decorating is expensive, it takes time. And I wanted there was a cartoon on TV at the time, and so I must have been quite young when I swapped rooms, probably about 7 or 8 maybe. And there was a cartoon at the time, and we painted the room like a very pale blue, to match this like wallpaper border. I don't know if you remember back in the day, like borders were all the rage. So wallpapering kind of, you could still do that, but then you could place a border around your room. So it was like a really thin piece of wallpaper with a repeated pattern on. And they were doing these like in all different things. So you could have like cartoons and all this sort of stuff. But I was really, strangely enough, I don't know how into it was, because like now it doesn't really play a big part in my life. There was a TV show, I think it was called Barney, and there was like a dog in it and a little mouse, I think. And anyway, I had that border around my room, but I kind of had to earn that because I was good. They let me have it because I was good, so it wasn't like, because I think they moved me rooms and then they decorated afterwards. And yeah, so I had to earn that, and that's kind of how my home life was. It was like you can have nice things if you earn them, and I'm sure people do that nowadays. I'm sure that's how things are now. Surely, I just feel that a lot of kids nowadays seem to get a lot of stuff, and things are expensive. Like it seems to be the norm to buy a child an iPad at a very early age. And like I bought an iPad Pro recently, and I know they're quite expensive compared to a normal iPad. But a normal iPad's like 500 quid, 600 quid, and the iPad Pro is like 1,000. But I had to make a really massive decision whether I was going to buy myself a new iPad because I've not had one in years. And I've got a work one, and I do find it useful. And I thought I want my own one, so I'm not using the work one because I'm allowed to use it for certain personal things, but not really everything. So I was like, I'm just blue in the lines now what I'm allowed to use it for. So I thought, just get your own. So I decided to get one, but it was a big choice for that. And people buy their children iPad Pros at like 8 years old, 9 years old. Like I've seen it, and it just blows my mind. And I'm like, how good do they have to be to get that present? Like, I mean, I don't know what it's comparable with because obviously, like, everything's comparable with something. So, like, I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of something that I had when I was a kid that may have even been close to that. I mean, I had a Game Gear. I had a Game Gear when I was a kid, and when would I have got that? Probably like maybe early 90s, I would say. I was probably maybe 10 years old, but it wasn't brand new. It wasn't brand new, and I think my mum paid like 30 quid for it off a friend with a few games. Let's say £45 perchance, and I had that, I think, for a Christmas present or a birthday present. I'm pretty sure it was 30 quid she paid for, you know. Let's say 40 quid. Let's say 40 quid, because I'm pretty sure it was 30. But like that, in today's money, I'm using this inflation calculator on the Bank of England. It's really, really cool. I use it quite a lot. It's really interesting. And you can go really far back in time. Anyway, so £40 in 1993 works out as about £83.40 now. So I had a second-hand Game Gear, and it was 83 quid in today's money. So that's quite expensive, but not breaking the bank for a birthday, I would say. That's not like, as one big present, because I used to get one big present and then a few presents off relatives, maybe the odd like few quid in an envelope and stuff. My Aunt Sally in Ireland used to always send me a postal check. I don't even know if you can still get them anymore. So yeah, so £83 for a Game Gear. I mean, I don't know how much Game Gears were new. Let's see if I'm even if I was even close. Let's see what it was like. Let's have a Google. Live Google. So I don't know how much they were. So I won't get them as they are now. So you can get them second hand now for £85 refurbished. It was a great console. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. So yeah, so that's the sort of thing I used to get. I'm going to Google all that now. That's ridiculous. I should research before I start these things. But yeah, so that's the sort of present I got. And is £83 too much? Not compared to an £800 iPad, is it, really? Like, that's like a tenth of... They're really getting 90% extra stuff spent on them. Like, how much is an iPad? I don't even know how much an iPad is, if I'm honest with you. Shop iPad. There we go. So, just from £349. But that'll be the shit one, won't it? Because you know what they're like. They always give you like the lowest price one for that. So, yeah, 64 gigs storage. So you're going to go with the 256 storage straight away, Wi-Fi. So yeah, for 500 quid. So 500 quid for an iPad. And I had an £80 Game Gear when at about the same age. So I don't think that's comparable, really. I think kids are spoiled nowadays. There you go, I've said it. kids are spoilt, and we were the best, and they're crap. But they have to, I suppose kids now have these things, don't they? In some sense, it's getting a bit out of hand though. It's getting a bit out of hand. You see kids, you see adults on the phones and stuff all the time, and I'm terrible. I'm on my phone quite a lot, but I have recently been trying to reel it back in a bit. Trying to stay off social media as much. I mean, I'm trying to post what I can on here, on Instagram and stuff. But I already broke my promise of like trying to post something every single day or whatever. So that's gone out the window. Yeah, maybe I might try and do like a weekly roundup of some pictures and say this is what I've been doing, like just before the podcast. Something that'll come out at the beginning of the week for the previous week or something, just for engagement's sake. Oh God, engagement. Yeah. So I say I never really got poly money. I used to get the odd bit, and I've said before, I used to go to the cinema when I was a bit older. Me and my mate used to go to the cinema, so my mum used to throw me a fiver pretty much every Saturday, and that was kind of to get me out of the house, I suppose. So a fiver. So go on, a fiver in 1997, probably when it started. I'm gonna be surprised how much it's worth, isn't it? So less than a tenner. £9.55 five was in 1997. Even less in 1996. And weirdly enough, 1995 was worth nearly a tenner, and then towards the end it was worth even less. So obviously inflation reduces the value of it. So yeah, so you're talking about just under a tenner she used to give me every Saturday. Well, actually, that's actually not too bad if you think about it nowadays. I've heard about kids getting a tenner, so maybe that hasn't changed, but then the presents have changed. People think they need to spoil their kids more. But I used to do chores all the time. Like, I used to really not spoke about chores that much. Welcome to Infinite Prattle. That was well annoying. I don't know why I do these voices. I don't know. It pleases me on my own brain. Like, you think I would annoy myself, and I do, but, but it pleases me, but then I get annoyed. So God knows what you guys think. Yeah, so I used to, like, wash the cars, mum and dad. Well, it was just my mum's car, and then my dad's car, then my mum's car, when she got a car. And used to cut the grass, do the weeding, dusting, hoovering, like tidying the garage, tidying the shed, keeping my own room tidy, keeping my stuff in the garage or sheds tidy. Doing the washing up, that was a big thing. Finding my brother who's going to wash, who's going to wipe. So all these things were done like for free. So sometimes my dad would throw me a couple of quid when I washed his car if I'd done like a proper good job, like not just washed it, but like waxed it and proper valeted it inside and out. Sometimes he'd give me a couple of quid, like to go to the shop and get like some sweets and stuff. But I think the way that like we worked it was just if you're good all the time, you get the benefit of that. And this fiver on a Saturday was just something that was like an award at the end of the week, and I used to go to the cinema. And I was at my mum's hair. My mum does hair all day, so she used to literally say to me, like in the morning, I used to leave about 9:30, 10 o'clock, go around to my mate Neil's house, and then I'd pretty much be out all day, like all day. She used to say, literally be back for tea. So it let me mum and dad like have all that time alone. Because my brother was like, he's I was going to say he's always been 5 years older than me, which is a stupid thing to say. But my brother's 5 years older than me, so he was normally out anyway with his own mates. And then obviously when he went to college and uni and stuff, he was in bed. He's one of them people that does love to sleep in bed for quite a long time. But yeah, I wonder if kids still do chores like that. Everything's enforced. I just feel, and maybe it's misplaced, but I just feel that kids don't seem to be pushed into chores. They seem to be more pushed into activities, like going to sports, doing like football academies, doing like martial arts, and having multiple things to do in the calendar, social calendar of go and do sports, go and do this, rather than maybe learning some life skills and washing a car, cooking, and stuff like that. I'm going to do another podcast, I think, on cooking, because my mum was really amazing on that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making massive assumptions. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think kids are spoiled nowadays? Do you think they don't earn their kind of real big treats like these iPads and phones. I mean, kids just don't have iPads; they have phones now, don't they? Like, I mean, I know that's a thing in society now. And when I was a kid, like, I got my first phone when I was 16, and it was over the day a very, very basic, could phone people and text, and that was pretty much it. And it could do horoscopes for some unknown reason, but it made me really popular with the girls because they used to like to gather around me and read the horoscopes, which was kind of nice for me. Not that I ever went out with any of them because high school. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are you younger than me, and do you think I'm talking crap? Do you think that me getting a £5 equivalent of a tenner, just under a tenner today, is more than what you got like recently in the recent history of the world? And what sort of presents did you get? So like Game Gear was like a nice treat. Generally, it was a football shirt, and football shirts were about 30 quid back in the day. So probably equivalent to what, 50 quid now, 60 quid now. I don't know what is that. 30 quid show amount. Oh, here we are. 95. Yeah, so about double the amount in 95, so about 60 quid in 95, 30 quid else. So yeah, that's quite a lot still, isn't it? I suppose that is quite a lot. I suppose you always look back and think you were worse off than you were. And I look back and think, I don't actually look back and think I was worse than I was. I look back and think I had quite a nice childhood and I was looked after well. And sometimes, like, I thought I was hard done by, but if I ever went to my room, I was thinking, you're not that hard done by. I could have been a lot. I think I've always looked at the thing of, and I've always had this. Like, I look around this room now, and I think I would love this, and I would love that, and I would love this, and I'd love it to look like this. I'd love this redesign. I'd love to live in a different house, but I'm so lucky, really. And I think you just gotta be grateful for what you've got. And as a kid, it's hard to see. So let me know your thoughts about pocket money and chores and earning money and expensive gifts. And I might come back to this at some point with a more clear mindset and really delve into it, because I think it's a thing to have. And I might speak to some of my friends that have got kids and ask them how much money they give their kids, and do they give them give their kids money, and do they have to earn it? Because I know for a fact that if I was naughty, it lasted in my parents' mind, and I got bugger all. And even after a couple of weeks, if I was like, Dad, can I have that? And he'd be like, nope. And there was no backing down. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much for listening. I'd love to hear your take on chores, pocket money, and general expensive gift giving today, and see if you think your thoughts align with mine. Thank you very much for listening. You've been listening to Infinite Prattle, and I've been Stephen. And until next time, I'll speak to you soon. You've been listening to Infinite Prattle! Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, go back and listen to some others. And please continue to listening. Your support is muchly appreciated. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.